Hello and welcome to another episode of Wheel of Horror, the podcast where two lifelong childhood best friends spin a wheel every day leading up to Halloween. It chooses the horror film and they discuss it. Today we're talking about 2002's Signs, which was directed by M. Night Shyamalan. I'm your co-host Alec, and filling in for Eric today is the one, the only, the first guest we ever had on the podcast, Dom Berger.
Thank you. Thanks. No, man, I'm so happy to be here. Such a great experience. And this was a movie, man. I think I only watched it when it first came out. And it's been so many years since I've seen this. And I was really excited to rewatch it. Have you seen it recently?
No, dude, same as you. Yeah, this was like a Blockbuster VHS staple in like 2003, like they had the wall full of like signs, and I watched it once and then that was it.
Yeah. And I mean, first off, this is like a star-studded cast, right? So like,
oh yeah,
by now, it just each one of them has like, even the Culkin brother, he was in the Scream remake, right?
Yeah, he was in Scream 4, and he was also in this new episode of Black Mirror that was pretty good. You see the one with Josh Hartnett?
Yes.
And yeah, remember that one? That he was the cult leader guy.
Oh my God, that was him.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a second, like that's Aaron Paul. That was a really twisted, like the Charlie Manson guy.
Yeah, that's Rory Culkin.
Damn, that was really good.
You know what? Before we go on, do you have a favorite Culkin?
Ooh, I gotta go Macaulay because his little brother, what's his name from Succession?
Oh, Kieran
Culkin, he has some of my favorite roles, but I've seen too many interviews with him recently, and it's just like his personality is just a little bit too off for me. He does great performances, but like there's just something a little bit, I don't know, like
You're a Mac guy. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, you know what? Like, I just like if I had to choose, I had a guy who's been through life. He's experienced a lot. That dude's life sounded nuts from the outside, and then he seems to be doing pretty good.
Yeah, no, I do look at Macaulay Culkin's life, and I'm like, good for him, and seems like Kieran and now Rory's had a decent amount of success recently, and even as a kid. So the family, they do produce good children actors. I liked the kid in this.
Yes, he was great. Is your favorite Rory, or is he?
No, I'm a Kieran guy. I'm a Kieran guy myself. I just love Succession so much that yeah, he's great. But
oh my God, that show.
Yeah,
I was gonna say when those shows like that end, like I get so depressed.
No, I agree. I distinctly remember when that show ended. I like shoved my face into the couch. I was like, no. Yeah, no, I really think that, I don't know, whatever the parents are doing, I don't think it's healthy, but they're making kids that are just good actors, We did The Good Son recently with Macaulay Culkin, and then, Kieran was good in Home Alone, so was Macaulay. Yeah, they're all just, the good kid actors, but anyways.
And what about Mel Gibson? Fucking just being the North Star he is.
Dude, and really quick before I forget, Joaquin Phoenix obviously did a great job in this too, but he actually, I don't know if you knew this, he got the role 1 week before they started filming. Do you know about this?
No.
Apparently it was supposed to go to Mark Ruffalo. And, Mark Ruffalo and Kieran Culkin were in a movie like the year before. M. Night Shyamalan saw them, was like, I want those guys back together again. Mark Ruffalo was on board, and then he got a benign brain tumor behind his ear, and he had to get it emergency removed, so he was out of commission. And they brought Joaquin Phoenix in, and he got this role the week before they started shooting, which was also the week of 9/11.
Holy Wait, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
When was Gladiator? Gladiator was a year before this.
That was 2000.
2000.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So I don't know, man. I haven't seen Joaquin Phoenix so polished in so long. He's just like this baby faced, he does a great job too. There's something about Shyamalan and his movies where the way they speak. I mean, the dialogue is one thing, right?
Yeah,
dialogue is its own mystery sauce, but the pattern to which the characters speak is so distinctive. And I'm like, oh my God, I forgot that they do that in this movie. And it's so wild because I don't know about how do you feel about this movie before I kind of give you my opinion? Because I'm curious, did you, it's hard to not, where his movies are going, like the kind of things that the flaws stick out so much harder. because you're
Hmm.
like, oh, like awkward dialogue and lots of quiet moments that are just like people reacting back and forth
Yeah.
is like one of his staples. I like his shot composition in a lot of these things. Like if you look at a frame from this movie, you know that it's this movie.
Yeah.
The music's fantastic, you know.
Yeah.
But then around like an hour 10 in, I started being like, this is really dragging on, like, whew, we're still going. And all of a sudden it's like, no one show. At first, I'm like, oh, maybe they're like, no one shows emotion because like we're led to be like, who's weirder? Who's really the aliens? Is it these farmers who live on the outskirts, or is it these people that are attacking? And
Mm.
then it becomes like a full tilt kind of. I don't know. It was like I definitely misremembered this. I was like, oh, this is like kind of like a Quiet Place,
Yeah. Yeah.
like small story and like a big like a catastrophic thing happens and like our neck of the wood type thing. And I was like, yeah, it's kind of good. And everyone brings it. Like Mel Gibson, like everyone, they're working the best with what they got.
Hmm.
Even the girl from Little Miss Sunshine,
Yeah.
she's adorable.
Yeah.
And there's some real moments. You know who actually I liked this time around is M. Night Shyamalan, his little cameo.
Yeah.
I was like, that wasn't bad for what, everybody else is like an A-list actor working with his dialogue, and he gets like the chunkiest monologue and gets to drive off. I'm like, no, man, I'm shocked. Anyway, sorry. You tell me.
So to answer your question, you asked what if I liked it. Yeah, no, I do. I think like, of all the M. Night Shyamalan films that I've seen, it's probably my second favorite. I think Sixth Sense is just like on another planet. And I do enjoy this one. I like The Village. I know a lot of people don't. Unbreakable is interesting. I think the thing about M. Night Shyamalan is like he's like George Lucas. He's got great concepts, but he just can't write dialogue very well, and he might need help. He presents the idea, gets a screenwriter, works with a screenwriter, and then someone else writes his project for him. He directs it. Maybe doesn't always act in every single thing that he wants to act in, and I think you got a success there. But yeah, this is one of his wins for me, like his big wins for me. I did just see Trap too, if you're curious about that at all.
I am curious.
Yeah, I won't spoil it at all. It's okay. And it's kind of exactly what you were just saying. Like it starts off really strong, and then towards the end, you're just like, what are we doing here, guys? And
Yeah.
I read one review, which I just have to say, this is the best review I think I've ever heard. M. Night Shyamalan traps the audience into putting up with his daughter's music. And I
Oh.
was like, yeah. Anyways, so yeah. What's your experience with M. Night Shyamalan though? Like, because I feel like we're gonna talk about him and then also, the movie a lot. But what's the first film you saw of his? What do you think about him? All the jazz.
Oh, I was on the same hype train everybody else was. I saw Sixth Sense and I was like, oh my God, this movie's incredible. It was a great movie for everyone involved. Like, I just felt like everyone really fit in well with their parts. And
Hmm.
then I felt like this was the same kind of deal where it was like Mel Gibson's quieter, he's more reserved. His kid's yelling at his face in this movie, and you can see kind of like he's really damaged. And I'm like, all right, that's cool. And if I were to turn the sound off and just watch it, without hearing any of the dialogue. Like I really like some of these shots. They're like the CGI is like probably the low point of the
Yeah.
visuals, but like
Yeah.
other than that, it's amazing, right? And
Yeah.
there's some jokes that work. I feel like as I started watching those movies waiting for the twist or whatever, I like The Village too. I was also really young when I saw it, but like I remember thinking like what like it blew my mind, and that
Yeah.
was way more important. All of a sudden though, I saw Lady in the Water.
Oh yeah. No.
I turned it off. It was one of the
Yeah.
first, and I love Paul Giamatti. Like I'm watching Billions right now, and it's like eye candy for me. It's fun, just
Mm.
a character actor enjoying himself. But holy shit, was Lady in the Water was such a mess,
I
and then he
know.
never recovered. He brought out Air like Last of the Airbender.
No, dude, The Happening.
Oh my God, The
The
Happening.
Happening. That's like the worst example of his dialogue, like the way that his writing is. I think Mark Wahlberg and his writing is like the end of the universe, like the disaster.
And also, that movie came out at a time where like internet lists and memes and stuff like that were getting really popular, and The
Yeah.
Happening became such a cliche to
Yeah.
just like fucking take the piss out of it. And then I remember once like people started uploading YouTube videos, it was just clip after clip, uninterrupted, being like, what the hell happened here?
Right. And then you were saying
Ugh.
The Last Airbender, which was then like, you're like, oh, it can't be any worse than The Happening. And it's like, oh, wait.
Especially when all my friends were like children and they all watched Avatar and they're
Yeah.
like, dude, it's gonna be amazing. Like this show is awesome. And I didn't watch Avatar until later in life. I love it now, by the way, no judgment. But like I saw this movie and I was like, was that the cartoon? Was that like they're like, no, dude, that was the weirdest shit. Everyone's races are switched. There's no one that's like showing any kind of direction. And then it's like comes out, it's like he didn't read any of the background material. He didn't watch the show. Everyone mispronounced the main character's name.
Yeah.
I don't know. So I lost a little bit of respect. He came back with Devil.
He didn't direct that though. I think he wrote it and produced it, maybe. But that was like okay, I remember. Like I didn't hate it.
Yes, dude, exactly. I was like, okay, we're getting returned to form. He's like
Yeah.
leaning into, there's a mystery and you don't know who the devil is.
Yeah. That was like and it was a cool idea of having it all take place in the elevator. Like that was kind of interesting. But I can't remember if there's one in between this, but did you see The Visit in 2016? It was like the found footage one where they go to the grandparents' house.
No.
Honestly, not horrible, I'm gonna say. Yeah, okay, so yeah, I'm sorry, you did After Earth, which I heard was awful as well. So, okay, so it went like Lady in the Water, The Happening, The Last Airbender, and After Earth. Just like a solid like 7 years of just everybody hating him.
But somehow this guy is still finding money.
Yeah, I think he self-finances a lot, and I mean, the thing is, like, I don't know if I'm not going to look through all of them, but I think they all make money, like, because people are just like, let's give them another chance. But all right, so I'm sorry, let's continue then. So, okay, so The Visit, I will say, it came out in 2015, not horrible. There are some moments that are like, but he did write and direct that one, not too bad. Then we get into Split and Glass. Have you seen those?
Yes, dude.
Are they good? I actually never saw those.
Okay, so Glass is like it's essentially like Samuel L. Jackson gets the spotlight, which is pretty good,
Hmm.
but the story's really bad. But Split is I don't know. I think what's his name?
James McAvoy.
Yeah, James McAvoy. He is absolutely incredible,
Yeah.
and I have no objection for him just literally being written a movie so he can showcase just all of his training. Like whatever, sure,
Hmm.
absolutely, go for it. It was a really weird concept, but I think like as long as you just kind of buy in from the beginning, but the follow up of it, I just like you. What's the Unbreakable?
Yeah.
So I liked it a lot when I was a kid, and I think I rewatched it, and it's like it's got some stuff that's like of its time, you
Hmm.
know. I do like it though. I like it. It's not amazing on rewatch, but like I also think it was exactly what it wanted to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
For Unbreakable or for Glasses?
or like any other like movies that like you can think of that have his name on it? Because he did something recently. I know his daughter just did her movie.
Well, his follow-ups to Glass were Old, Knock at the Cabin, and Trap. So he's written and directed all of those. I did not
Nice,
see Old. I've heard split things. I did see Knock at the Cabin. I actually liked it. I thought it was pretty good.
nice.
And then Trap was okay. But I will say, I think I figured out how he was able to make all these movies. So if you look at his Wikipedia, after The Village, he bounced from production company to production company. So it was like 20th Century Fox, Warner Brothers, Paramount, Sony. Every single movie was a completely different company. And then the last 5 movies he's done has all been through Universal. So looks like he bounces around quite a bit. Anyways, let's jump into Signs a little bit. Let's jump into that bad boy.
Absolutely, yeah. The thing I like about this plot, right, it's these farmers, right? They are, one of them's a reverend and they live on a farm. And yeah, so he has a loss of faith after his wife dies, right? She's accidentally hit by a driver who falls asleep when she's walking and he pins her against this tree and she dies.
Yeah.
And he loses his faith. He stops being a priest. He has a daughter and son, and their uncle comes home to live with them after he fails trying to make it as a professional athlete, who wanted
Yeah.
to be a baseball player. So, and then all of a sudden, they get some visitors and some crop circles.
Just you even saying that setup right there, you being like the Stephen King guy, if somebody were to just say just that, wouldn't that kind of sound like a Stephen King setup?
Absolutely. It's like I literally get feelings of 1922. Like there's like this
Yeah.
whole thing with a farm. But anyway, it's like the concept is so great. It's like cool. And the idea that it's like they're like, I'm not going to report it to the media because, like, our values, I don't need to be famous. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that that's an interesting, good read on why you wouldn't report, like, seeing a crop field or something, or how long it would take for a small town to report something like that. Nowadays, everyone's got a fucking camera and phone.
Oh yeah. I know. It's so interesting to see a movie like before cell phones, before the internet. Like all the kids are just sitting in a living room watching TV together. Like it's just like it's so different than what I'm sure it is now. And it wasn't even that long ago.
I know.
Yeah. But yeah, the crop circle thing, it's kind of crazy because that, yeah, I've watched videos on YouTube or whatever, but like there was like some serious, like people are like, wait, is this real for like a long time throughout the 20th century? And, they've all mostly been debunked that like people are able to do it like very synchronized and bending the stalks certain ways to actually make it work. But I like in this movie how they are aware of that, and they also were like, but look, they're bent too perfectly. Like it's impossible for, kids or whoever to do this, or their neighbors who's fucking with them or whatever. So I like that they acknowledge that.
That line like stuck with me. I remembered them saying that. Isn't it weird, like the dialogue that stays with, like that's a good line. There's certain things about this movie that I remember very well, and then there's huge gaps of it that kind of like I knew where all the jump scares were. I forgot what they were about. And it's like I think the music is really great, and they have
Yeah.
like a good score going the whole time. It made me miss like old-fashioned movies.
Yeah, it does have that like 90s kind of like not action but like sci-fi fantasy kind of like late 90s sci-fi fantasy music.
Yes,
I loved it. Yeah, I thought the music like really stood out. It was creepy but playful at the same time. It was good.
that's a great way to put it. Playful.
Yeah, because it was like quick. It was almost like Mars Attacks, but not as cartoony as Mars Attacks for sure. But dude, oh God, you were saying like the CGI and the jump scares and stuff like that. We'll keep going through the plot, but fuck, I wish they just used real like practical effects in it for most of it because it looks bad sometimes.
And dude, how effective was it? Like, so, something, the way that they noticed that there's something going on. So the dogs are peeing themselves inside. No one knows why,
Yeah,
right? And they bring the dogs outside. And that scene where you're just sitting there and the dog's growling, and, the brother has his sister and he's like, don't run. And he's about to the dog's about to jump at them and he's about to kill the dog, right?
yeah.
That is good storytelling. I remember that perfectly, and I'm like, and it cuts before you see anything happening. I was like, that's directing. That's good.
I know. I was kind of surprised they didn't show anything though. You kind of just come back to the dog's dead, you know?
Yes.
Why do you think they didn't show anything? Like, or even a bark or anything?
Maybe it leaves more ambiguity. Let me ask a stupid question. Was the dog growling at the kids or was the alien on the roof?
I don't know. That was the first thing that I was kind of like, wait, what just kind of happened? I just like went along with it because like Mel Gibson was so calm, but like Mel Gibson
Yeah.
walks away with the sheriff and they're looking at the crop circles and then we don't hear a bark, we don't hear anything, and then they come back and the dog's just dead, and Abigail Breslin and Rory Culkin are separated and he's like he jumped for like he fell on me and the dog's just fucking dead. He's just like picks her up and walks away and I was like, wait. What just happened? Did the dog attack the kid? Did it go for an alien or trip on? Like, what? What do you think happened? I don't know what happened.
The calmness, so he's like, it's all right, buddy. Like, you obviously didn't grow up in like a loud Italian family. Because if I ever came back with the dog dead and it was like, I had to kill her, like she was going to attack the kids, my mom would be like, what? What did you do?
I know, dude. He literally like doesn't even ask any follow-up questions. Just like, all right, we'll bury him later, son. Like, it was so like you'd be like, wait, what just happened? He fell on you?
He had to murder the family dog?
Yeah, like, get over here. What just happened? Like, not a follow-up, blindly believes him, picks up the dead dog, walks away. Like, even if there wasn't aliens, I'd be like, we should get him tested. Maybe he had rabies. Like, we need to know what the fuck happened here.
Dude, the whole movie, the emotions were pretty flat, right?
Very, very.
Super flat. And I'm like, maybe this is just a reaction to trauma, like.
Of the mother or like of her death or just aliens?
No, I'm talking about like when he murders his dog and the rest of the movie, he doesn't say a word above like one octave or another.
Except for that time where he's like, this is bullshit when he yells about his death.
This is bullshit.
It's like, this ain't a democracy, Rory.
I count as two.
No, I really, yeah, everybody was super reserved in this movie, except for like the little girl, because she's just like, I can't help it. I have to emote emotion.
She's like, I'm five. I don't know how to just pull back everything.
Yeah, it's like be solemn, Abigail. She's like, what's that mean? She's like, oh fuck, okay. But like every like Rory Culkin, Joaquin Phoenix, and Mel Gibson are just like there is no emotion. Like they don't even move their faces when they talk. They just sit there like yeah, blah, blah, blah. Like it's very. I mean, it's a choice, but
Even the sheriff, the woman, right?
yeah,
Her delivery was like that. And I'm like, they have to be doing this on purpose.
yeah. Well, this is kind of fucked up, but I mean, 9/11 did just happen. And the first scene they filmed was the wife getting killed. Like that was the first night of filming, and that was on September 12th. And M. Night, I did read some stuff like M. Night Shyamalan was like, I was talking to people that were older. I was in charge of a crew the day after 9/11, and there were people that were older than me that I had to like navigate them through this, being like their boss. And I was like, this is just challenging to like do. And yeah, they had like a candle vigil the first night of filming for all like the firefighters and people that were killed and everything. Like, so maybe that like I'm totally projecting that onto that, but I mean,
But maybe.
yeah, I mean, the week of 9/11, you're filming this movie, like you're probably not, nobody's probably feeling great.
I was gonna say those tears, like everyone brought it. Even the little girl. Like I have a little girl now, and like the way she cried at dinner, it was like, God, that is just what it looks like. That's exactly what it is. It's wild.
Oh, dude, the scene where like he's like, you don't want your mashed potatoes? I'll take some. And he's like grabbing everything and then like he hugs everybody. I was like, all right, this has got some good heart moments.
Yeah, and dude, and I laughed out loud when he grabbed that guy, went Joaquin's shirt and pulled him into the hug. I was like, that was pretty funny, man.
Yeah.
Good for
Dude,
you.
all right. I just gotta say, like, Mel Gibson was on fire right now, dude. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
this was a big movie for him, but then What Women Want, I think, was like the year after, and then he fucking directs Passion of the Christ like the next year. Like, there was a solid 3 or 4 years right now where he was just like killing it. He invented the word sugar tits. I mean, he was really going places, you
He
know?
got a lot of accolades to his name, you know? I mean, and truthfully, they make fun of him on South Park pretty hard, where it's just like, being a crazy person.
Yeah.
But they say, like, the son of a bitch knows story structure. And holy shit, does he? Like, his movies are some of my favorite. And,
Oh, The Patriot. That was like 2001. That was like right before this.
I love how they're like, you like Braveheart? Do you want Braveheart but America? And we're like, yes.
So yeah, like if he didn't kind of go crazy when he got pulled over and drunk, like he might have been because he was really on fire for a while there.
Dude, he was in Daddy's Home too.
Oh yeah.
And I was just like, that's what I picture him to look like in real life. Just
Yeah.
like fucking mean and old.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like he's very grumpy, but Lethal Weapon. Oh no, that was a long time before this. But yeah, I mean, hey, Mel Gibson was really on like this was a big point in his career and his life. And Joaquin Phoenix had just come off a Gladiator. He was becoming Joaquin Phoenix, and I think for him to just be able to pick up this role the week before, it's just incredible. I mean, honestly, I think I noticed every single person in this movie. I mean, the sheriff is also in Succession. Cherry Grace, I think is her name. She's a big actress. And
Yep.
then, dude, Michael Showalter, did you recognize him?
No.
You know who he is, right?
Yeah, but who was he playing?
Dude, he's the douchebag when Joaquin Phoenix is talking to and he's just like, yeah,
Oh,
he struck out like a million times though.
dude, I didn't even notice that was him.
Yeah. I was like, why is he in this movie?
Exposition.
Yeah, right. Exactly. But I just was like, what an odd choice to have him be just chilling like shit talking another guy.
Dude, you just made me think of it though. Like that's the thing that like becomes really bad is the exposition dumps sometimes.
Yeah.
Like sometimes they're good, but they literally start like the scene starts with it, and they just like the character is unnaturally just talking out loud about a thing that the other person needs to know.
Yeah. I read somewhere online too that somebody was saying that like M. Night Shyamalan is like it's like a video game. Like you're like overhearing things and it's like progressing the plot and it's like, and especially in this trap movie, it's like in this movie he's like go up to the security guard and it's like why are all the cops here? And it's like, well, there's a serial killer in the building. It's like you need this security pass to get past people. And it's like, oh, okay. And like his dialogue really is just full of like unnatural exposition. It's like being overheard almost by us.
Yes. I haven't seen Old, but the ideas I'm having about the movie concept, I guarantee are going to be way cooler than what the execution is.
I haven't seen it. I don't really. All I know is yeah, they go to the beach and they turn old. That's all I know.
I mean, I think they saw one trailer, and that's the problem with these M. Night Shyamalan movies is that the trailer now is like a big part of driving intrigue and getting people in the theaters, but they show so much that by the time you get there, you can't help. I mean, I'm glad nowadays that all trailers are like online or before the movie, maybe, but I avoid trailers more often because I never see new movies anyways. Like I can't remember the last time I went to a new movie.
Yeah, I mean, hey, yeah, you're busy. You got two kids.
I'm like talking about like how I watch things. I'm like, I only watch things that they're streaming.
No, but you're right though. But like this was at a stage in M. Night Shyamalan's career where twists, I guess he was becoming synonymous with twists, I guess. But I think like after The Village, then it was like, oh, okay. Because this movie doesn't really have a twist. I guess like the water kills them, but like I mean, like something had to kill these aliens. It wasn't going to be like, whoa, dude, I didn't see like them getting killed by what? I mean, yeah, I guess that was a little bit of a shock, but you're not. I don't know. Did you think this movie had a twist? I didn't think it did.
No, but I was trying to think like, is this an homage to War of the Worlds?
War of the Worlds?
Yeah, with the like germs or whatever being the
Yeah.
things that ultimately kill. Because the water thing, the thing I did like about it is that the aliens were getting beat somewhere else, right? And then they retreated.
Well, yeah, but I love when the news says like they were killed off by primitive, like, combat. It's like, we'll report more later. It's like they just threw water at him. Just fucking say that.
Literally, they could die on the way down because of condensation. Like that's a bummer. I wish it was anything other than water.
How stupid are these aliens that they can't fucking open doors and they don't know that this planet is 70 something percent water, but yet they can fly here and like, just like,
Yeah,
come
come up
on.
with navigation like through crop circles and like they're obvious and they can read your minds, dude. So it's like that's the part where I started feeling like, you know, like he's like, oh yeah, and they can read your minds, and this girl's clairvoyant, and her mother was somehow too. And it's like that all kind of just rolled out in the end, and I was like, it would have been fine if those things weren't true,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, yeah. So the water thing, I think, is the worst part of this movie. I mean, the CGI is a close second, but otherwise, I think it's great. And I just want to say too, really quick, like even though we've kind of been shitting on M. Night Shyamalan a little bit, I still respect the shit out of him, man, because like he is one of the few directors nowadays that you can actually point to and be like, that guy is making original movies. And
Yeah.
I gotta, even if they're, 50-50, the guy is going for it. He's taking swings and he might not always hit, but at least he's trying. And I gotta respect the hell out of that. I was thinking about it the other day. I'm like, yeah, I don't like most of his movies, but honestly, I can't think of anybody else that's really doing what he's doing aside from like Quentin Tarantino nowadays, you
Yeah,
know?
dude. Of course, I respect the shit out of him because it not only that, like to make separate movies. I know that the Shattered, Glass, those movies are all connected, but like he makes separate movies and it's like a Stephen King thing where you're like, you know what, I get a new flavor. It's like a story of the year or whatever, and the idea that people are still going out to see them means that like there is a need for that. And if you don't keep that consistent, if you don't keep putting out that kind of stuff, like people won't pay to see it. Like people won't pay to produce it. I get really sad that like we haven't seen Westerns in a while. And I was playing Red Dead Redemption 2, and I'm like, God, I am Jones. And Westworld was kind of a Western for a second, but like I'm in need of like a new Western, something really well produced and like full of stars, man.
Yeah, they just released that Horizon movie that Kevin Costner wrote and directed. It was going to be this like 3-part, 3.5 hour each movie epic, and I guess the first one came out and it was really didn't do well, so they kind of scrapped the whole thing. So yeah, but really quick, just for context, I did look up this. Of all of M. Night Shyamalan's written and directed films, the budgets combined have been $723 million, and the combined box office has been 3.1 billion. So He has never had a movie that hasn't made money. Lady in the Water is the one that's come the closest, and it basically broke even, but every other one of his movies has done very well, even if it's not reviewed very well.
Wow.
Yeah.
What do I know?
No, dude, I was thinking the same thing.
No. I'm like, honestly, I was like, damn, like he had 5 flops in a row, right? And I'm
Yeah.
like, it must be something in the water, Lady in the Water. No, he made money on everything, so that's amazing.
Lady in the Water is the only one. It was 70 million and made 73 million. So it did lose money, I'm sure, with marketing and everything, but still, like, that's the only one that's even close. Everything else is like 20, $30 million difference. Yeah, regardless, I think this is his second best film of all of his movies. I think the cast is great. It's shot very well. The music's really good. CGI is bad, but it's of the time. It'd be better now. Like, it kind of reminds me of not Close Encounters of the Third Kind. I guess like a little bit just because of the aliens, but they're not friendly and they don't.
Like an ET type thing, like a little further
You know what?
from.
I'm sorry. You know what it reminds me of? Nope. It reminds me of like a Nope. Did you see that one?
Yep.
Yeah, it's because it's a ranch. It's an alien that you don't really see much. Obviously, that alien is a massive thing, and this is just like an individual little thing. But there's that one scene in Nope where the kids are dressed up as aliens that I was like, "Fuck, this reminds me of Signs so much right here."
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, overall, I mean, how does this fall in your rank of the films that you've seen of his?
So I have like a special place for The Sixth Sense where like I can watch it over and over and over again. And like I watch it every Halloween
Yeah,
and I still am so on board. It works so well. So that's a special number one. I think this is maybe number two. Number
yeah,
two, because it's just Mel Gibson being Mel Gibson. And like you get to see like all these, it's a weird movie and the dialogue's really clunky. But for some reason, like the acting is so good. These kids or these people put these roles up on their shoulders, and you come out of it and you're like, "Damn, he nailed it! Like that was amazing. Totally on board."
yeah. They make M. Night Shyamalan's stunted kind of George Lucasy dialogue actually work.
Yeah,
I love the title because it works on two different levels of being like signs from aliens, or also because they have that pretty decent sized conversation with Mel Gibson and Joaquin Phoenix about like losing your faith and like do you see signs and things, and so it like works on two different levels. So I kind of like that, like
yeah,
it's
yeah.
aliens, but it's also like do you see signs and things like.
It's also I saw the sign
Oh my
in a
God.
bit of light. Remember
If
that?
that was like the music, like right, like the credits roll to that, like
I would have been so happy. Oh my God. There was a Full House episode where they played that song like 8 times. And I'll never forget it.
oh my
Oh,
God. Yeah, and then this is the other thing I've just like it made me think about this a lot too. Like the woman, the wife getting killed, like that is such like that could happen to anybody at any time. Like you stop to tie your shoe, and that's that 1 second that if you didn't do that, you would have made that red light and not done that. Like that, I think about that shit all the time. And this movie kind of nailed that. Like, this woman was out smoking crack in the streets at 2 a.m. or whatever. No, I'm kidding. She's like, I was going out for and she's like, I'm going out for a walk before dinner. And I was just like, but M. Night Shyamalan said he was coming. He's like, I was the only car on the road. It was super late. And she's like, I was taking a walk before dinner. I was like, okay, what was going on?
it was 3:30.
Yeah. I was like, when were you having dinner if but anyways, yeah.
Also, they're like, they're like, M. Night Shyamalan, they're like, yeah, it's just, you're not arrested for any reason. Like, that wasn't manslaughter. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's like you fell asleep. It's just like, yeah, well, I mean, yeah, I don't know what you do in a situation like that, but I don't know. Yeah. Well, thanks for coming on, Dom. I mean, this has got to be up in the 20s now.
Yeah, we're beyond 20. We're, what, 21 or something? 20.
Oh my God. That's crazy, dude. Well, thanks. 4 years, dude. You've been doing this for 4 years.
4 years. Wow. Feels like it just started, man.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you very much for listening into our discussion on signs, and we will see you tomorrow with something.